Grizzlies just announcing that Ja Morant is doubtful for the rest of the playoffs. Memphis trails Golden State 3-1 in their first-round series with Game 5 tomorrow. Morant left Game 4 with about 6 minutes left after Jordan Poole grabbed his right knee. Grizzlies said an MRI revealed a bone bruise, so this could be devastating for the Grizzlies.
Man.
All right, you see Morant was terrific in the first round against the T-Wolves, but he kicked things up a notch in the semis before that knee injury. Morant averaged over 38 points per in the 3 games against the Warriors, shooting over 50% from the field and well over 40% from three-point land.
So the Golden State Warriors have an opportunity to advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 2019. They're playing the Grizzlies, and the big news we led at the top of the show with it. Ja Morant is doubtful for the remainder of the series. The MRI results came in. He has a bone bruise on his right knee. So, GA, obviously we know how well the Grizzlies played without Ja during the regular season. Now 20-6 if you combine the regular season and the playoffs without him. How does not having Ja potentially impact this series?
Well, listen, it is significant times 10. There's no doubt about it that they're going to miss him. But as they showed last night, they're more than capable. I think they were 20-5 during the regular season.
Now 20-6 if you
20-6 now without him. So that's testimony to how good the roster is. And if you also think about last night, their 2 leading scorers played awful. Desmond Bain and Dillon Brooks. They were not good at all on the offensive end. And it's not just about the shooting, it's the shot selection and the decision-making offensively. So if you're Coach Jenkins and his staff, that alone has to give you some confidence. The bigger issue now is you have no margin for error. You can't lose another game. So you can't focus on saying we got to win 3 in a row. They got to win tomorrow night, first and foremost. And they're going to have to be active, physical. And if they bottle defensively what they did the first 40 minutes of the game, that'll give them a chance. And they still have some decided advantage. I thought Steven Adams had a huge impact on the game for them. They still have that advantage on the front line. They've just got to play with more force and not settle. I thought Golden State was the more physical team, especially when it was winning time. And they forced Memphis to become far more perimeter oriented. And I think that played a role in their demise in Game 4.
Awesome. I mean, we know that they were awesome defensively. Obviously, Golden State didn't shoot well early, held them 38 points early on, but then were outscored in the fourth quarter 39-29. A lot of bad decisions made as far as taking shots. But then going back to the Golden State Warriors, obviously they're in a nice position right now, being up 3-1. In your opinion, what is the biggest difference between this Warriors team and those earlier Warriors teams that won titles minus KD?
Well, a lot of it is they had size on the front line, and they had good decision makers. I always felt during their dynasty run, and some would argue they're still in it, but during their run, they had the highest collective basketball IQ of anybody in the league. They were the best team in the league at making you pay for mistakes on offense and defense. You know, whether they turned that turnovers into transition or missed assignments on defense, where they were able to capitalize and get open rhythm looks. They don't have that to the degree they used to have it. And it's really evident in their lack of size. And so that's an area where if you have the personnel, you can have some success there. And they know that. And the other thing, you can now attack their best players. Klay Thompson is not the defender he used to be. Klay Thompson was one of the best defenders on the perimeter the game had for a long time. Still competes, but doesn't have the sustainability on that side of the ball like he used to. And Draymond, as great as he is defensively, and he arguably is as good as anybody's ever played it, as much because of his IQ now as anything. So those are areas that are big concerns for them. And you've seen it play out somewhat in this series, because remember, they didn't have Steven Adams the first few games of this series, and that played a role. And if they're able to win this series, which at this point you have to think they're going to be able to prevail and potentially face a team like Phoenix, who does have tremendous size and a high basketball IQ. That's the biggest concern.
Scored 78 points in the second half alone in Game 3. They've got 64 here early in the fourth of Game 4.
Curry dribble drive, goes up right side, scored it, got fouled. Left wing, comes cross court to Curry, fires for 3, got it! Stephen Curry hits an important one there. It's a one-possession game.
He has that mindset where he is the best shooter of all time, and it just takes one good look at the rim or the free throw line, and when that happens, the floodgates open.
5:05 to go, Warriors down 4. Curry steps out, fakes Brooks, takes a three, going to his left, rattled it home. Brooks saw the screen coming, and Curry used that to his advantage.
He's got to be the easiest superstar to be around. He's always that confident because he thinks next play all the time, and so I didn't say anything to him. I know that he's always thinking about how can he help the team next.
Curry has 12 in the fourth quarter, trying to add to this Golden State lead.
Touch pass Curry. Curry stumbles on the drive, 2 to shoot, backs up, baseline jumper, good. Ridiculous.
Memphis led this game 93-90.
They're a smart veteran club. They're going to get physical down the stretch. We just got to do a better job down the stretch.
A rally by the Warriors here in Game 4. Golden State runs away in the fourth, and they get it done at home.
I'm just super proud of how hard our guys competed tonight. I mean, unbelievable effort for 48 minutes. You know, we just got to find a way to play better and try to win Game 5.
They take a 3-1 series lead and on the precipice of advancing to the Western Conference Finals.
Just in sports broadcasting history. And why wouldn't he? Sorry, gamers. EA Sports and FIFA failed to reach a new agreement, so the popular video game title is ending. EA Sports will have a new game for 2023, ending a nearly 30-year association with the soccer governing body. Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy might play in the big Game 5 tonight against the Hurricanes. He did clear COVID protocols. He will test himself in warm-ups, but fellow D-man Hampus Lindholm still out after being leveled in Game 2. And Manchester City has an agreement to land one of the most sought-after strikers in the world, Erling Haaland of Borussia Dortmund. City will pay 60 million euros, Kevin, to bring him to the team that his dad played for.
El pivotal Game 5 in Miami. Eastern Conference semifinals when the Heat host the Sixers, and let's get you ready for the matchup. Sixers were without the process Joel Embiid in the first 2 games, and the Heat took advantage. Tyler Hero, 25 points off the bench in Game 1. Miami won by 14. It was more the same Game 2. The Heat winning by 16. Completely different story with Embiid back in the lineup for Games 3 and 4, and the supporting cast delivered. Danny Green, Tyrese Maxey combining to knock down 12 triples as the Sixers took Game 3 by 20. James Harden channeling his MVP days as a Rocket with a vintage dominant performance in Game 4, dropping 31. Sixers won by 8. Tonight, in Game 5, the Heat will be without Kyle Lowry after he re-aggravated his left hamstring injury that caused him to miss the 4 games of this postseason. New on SportsCenter, Eric Spoelstra on losing Lowry.
Look, the playoffs are totally unpredictable, but you gain trust through experience and seeing success, and during stress and close games and all that stuff. And Gabe's been able to fill in. And do it in a way where we're still able to function on both sides of the ball. It may be different, it might look different, but everybody still is confident we can play our game.
All right, let's get you ready as we head down to Miami. We've got both teams covered for you. Nick Friedel on the Heat. Tim Bontemps is covering the Sixers. We're going to start with Nick. Kevin's like, are we? We are. What is Miami's plan in Game 5 tonight without Kyle Lowry in this lineup?
It's Jimmy Butler time. Get the ball to Jimmy and get out of the way. This is going to look a lot like the bubble did about a year and a half ago when Jimmy was carrying this team to the finals. He knows without Lowry on the floor, he's got to be the guy that sets the tone offensively, but also the one that sets everything up defensively, because Lowry's IQ is off the charts and they rely on him so much emotionally. So while Miami has got to shoot it better, they were 14 for 65 from 3 in Games 3 and 4 in Philly. Tyler Hero's got to step up. They're going to need more from Bam Adebayo. But this falls on Jimmy. And as he got up from the podium the other night in Philly after Game 4L, he looked around, he said, without Kyle, I know it's on me. And the Heat have confidence because he's proven he can do it like he did it before.
Yeah, they should have confidence too, because we just showed the numbers there on the screen, Nick. The Heat have actually been much better offensively when Lowry is off the court in this series. They average over 10 more points per 100 possessions, as we say thank you to Nick Friedel. In fact, Miami happy in general to return home, where they averaged nearly 113 points per game in the first two contests of the series, shooting 47% from the floor, 35% from deep, and they end up averaging 11.5 made three-point field goals per game en route to holding serve on their home court. For the other side.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Philly, boy, they were awful in the first two games, shooting a dreadful 22% from behind the arc, which included a ugly 6 for 34 performance in game one. The Sixers have had much better spacing with Embiid back. Those two games were in Philly, so we will see if they go back to their struggles in Miami. And Tim, let's bring back Tim Bontemps. Embiid hasn't been 100% or dominant, but he has changed this series since he returned in game three. How is he approaching this pivotal game tonight on the road?
Well, as you said, Kevin, the biggest difference in this game compared to the first two, as Doc Rivers said after their Game 4 win for the Sixers, is that Joel Embiid got on the plane with this team and is going to be here in the starting lineup tonight for the Sixers. And like you said, the series has completely changed since Joel Embiid came back in Game 3. And this game tonight, Kevin, this is the game Joel Embiid has been waiting for since last season ended with that Game 7 loss at home to the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals at Game 7 when Ben Simmons passed up that dunk in the fourth quarter of that game. Joel Embiid, 3 out of the last 4 years, has gotten to the second round of the playoffs. 3 out of the last 4 years, he has failed to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. He has spoken a lot about how this is a goal for him to get deeper into the playoffs, to get this team back to the conference finals for the first time since Allen Iverson did in 2001. A win tonight for the Sixers obviously gets them a massive step closer to that and would allow them to close the series out on Thursday night. That is the focus for Joel Embiid tonight, and that is the focus for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Tim, thank you so much. Of course, Caesars Sportsbook has the Heat as a 2.5-point favorite heading into Game 5.